What's up, everybody? Welcome to Horror Reviews, and let's talk about the 2014 film directed by Scott Derrickson, Deliver Us from Evil. This one stars Bana and Olivia Munn, and this is another exorcism possession film, but this one does things a little bit differently. Get right into the positives, the things that I think Deliver Us from Evil does really well, and that is the core premise of this film and how it is presented. This, as I said, is an exorcist film or a possession film, but it's presented in a way that this New York City police officer, who is Bana, is investigating crimes, not possessions. So it's posed as like a cop who's in this grimy city, you know, like rain coming down, dark alleyways, dark houses, grungy areas. He's going to like drug houses, he's going to like investigate domestic abuse cases and like mentally ill people. You know, there's the scene like with him at the zoo, and he's in the middle of the night going to investigate this like crazed person. So we as the audience are thinking, okay, these people are possessed, but what really works is Bana's character is going in like just a police officer. He doesn't know what he's in for. You know, a lot of times these possession films, I think when you have a scary possession film, one of its strengths and faults is that you know who the bad guy is for the most part. It's the possessed person. There might be a twist or something like that, but for the most part, you know everybody coming in, there's a room full of people, that's the bad person. Bana's character, when you're seeing it through his eyes, he's coming in, he doesn't know what is bad. He doesn't know what's going to happen. You know, could it be an abusive boyfriend? It could be the girl. It could be someone psychotic. Again, he could be coming into like a drug house full of a bunch of people who are ready to shoot him at any moment, stab him, attack him, whatever. So when you're going in to investigate these like dark houses, and there's like this scene, this really, really creepy, cool basement scene, and like these moments where he's like, again, investigating these things, you're really seeing it through his eyes where something could come out of anywhere and anything could be bad. You're not really sure what could happen. And that really, really works for this film. It creates a really, really nice overall unease and tension that really works throughout this entire film. Again, talking about that basement sequence, super suspenseful, way more suspenseful than I thought that it would be going into this film. I thought this was a really just creepy and unsettling, great mood, great tone and atmosphere, great performance from Bana. The setting, New York City, these really like grungy streets and back alleys, the setting in the zoo, which you wouldn't think would work very well, I think works really well. It's a very unique and interesting thing that I haven't seen in a lot of like possession or horror movies. And I also think that just the set design and a lot of the stuff here works really well. Some of the scares work really well. I think the performances from Olivia Munn, as well as the other detective, and I forgot his name, he's the guy from Community, but I think he's great in this film. This film just delivers some genuine suspense and tension, but it also has like a nice little mystery thriller going on where, I mean, you're pretty sure you kind of know what's happening, but it doesn't really just spell things out for you entirely. So you kind of are still trying to just piece things together, and you're going on this like sort of mystery thriller ride with the detective, sort of investigating these things as they go about or as they happen. And getting into the negatives, unfortunately, where this film falls apart for me is the possession aspect of it. So like I said, if you haven't seen this film, don't go in thinking that it's a possession film or an exorcism film, because it's not. Its strength really lies in that like cop procedural element of the film, and that's where a lot of the suspense comes from. That works really well. Negative side, where it is a possession film, is an exorcism film, and I think it falls really, really flat, especially at the end. The priest here, he does a pretty decent job, but it's just like, it feels like a tacked on thing, especially the climax of the film in the police station where they have the exorcism. It just really doesn't work for me. A lot of like the lore and the stuff that they have in here, they're explaining what's going on, just doesn't work. It feels really quick, really rushed. Unfortunately, the core horror elements of this film don't really come together in the end, and that might impact some of the scares. But like I said, I think this film has enough legs to stand on with just the suspense, and the way it's framed through Bana's eyes as this detective, I think really works so that when you get this ending, it doesn't necessarily hinder what has come before it. If you've never seen Deliver Us from Evil, I highly recommend you go check it out. But like I said, just keep that in your mind. It's not, don't go in expecting it to be an exorcist film. Go in expecting like a police procedural, like mystery thriller with some seriously uneasy tone and creepy atmosphere. I think you'll really have a good time. I just did a video talking about how this is streaming on Paramount Plus, but it looks like it's not anymore, at least according to IMDb. So unfortunately, I think it's only on Prime and you have to pay for it. I think it was like $3.99 or something like that. But I highly recommend you check this out if you haven't seen it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate it.
I'm running scared, I'm a big bad wolf. Oh, I never see the silver lining, only see the gold. I don't speak in caps, dog, everything bold. And I put that on myself, cause it's a life that I done chose. I said come through, you can see me on the west side. Now it's funny how they walking with each